Did you know excessive caution and fear regarding the sun might be leading to more than 40% of the population being vitamin D deficient? In this video, I'll list 10 signs that you might be vitamin D deficient and what you can do about it. Hi, this is Dr. Michael Ruscio, and let's jump in. 10 signs of vitamin D deficiency include fatigue, depression, autoimmunity, inflammation. Really, the other side of autoimmunity can be inflammation, eczema, asthma, poor metabolism, including high blood sugar, frequent colds, weak bones, and muscle weakness or muscle pain. And again, how common is vitamin D deficiency? Well, a recent well-performed analysis found that 41.6% of the U.S. population might be vitamin D deficient. And why is it so common? Well, as I mentioned a moment ago, fear of the sun. And I think here there's been some, probably not intentional, but messaging specifically from the dermatology community regarding sun, and having this kind of absolutist thinking that avoid the sun, wear a sunblock, and a real loss of the nuance. And this nuance is something I presented on at the 2018 Ancestral Health Symposium. And it's important to showcase and to acknowledge that regular, non-burning, very important, exposure is health promoting. Reason one that vitamin D deficiency is so common, fear of the sun. Reason two, inflammation. A 2014 review paper, to quote, noted, some authorities now believe that low vitamin D is a consequence of chronic inflammation rather than the cause. So this might be multifactorial, avoidance of the sun combined with inflammation. And also being obese or overweight. A 2018 study found that a higher body mass index or waist circumference was actually a predictor of vitamin D insufficiency. Thankfully, to test for vitamin D insufficiency is a simple blood test, and most labs will have a cutoff value of 30, meaning healthy would be above 30, below 30 would be insufficient or deficient. And ideally, you want to be between 40 and 50. And this is taken from a hunter-gatherer analysis to see what do free-living humans who are in the sun and not really subject to modern advents of buildings where obviously you're obscured from the sun, what do their blood levels look like? And they were between 40 and 50. This runs counter to what some may recommend, meaning having a higher level of vitamin D, and I haven't found that to be prudent. I think 40 to 50 is a good mark to shoot for, and that's also what this analysis of free-living hunter-gatherers substantiated. And how does vitamin D tie in with fatigue? Well, a 2016 randomized control trial found that fatigue improved in 40 children who received vitamin D supplementation. And also, in a recent 2021 clinical trial, 19 adults who had sleep apnea saw improvements of their energy and sleep events when supplementing with vitamin D. And really interesting here, and probably not too counterintuitive, that vitamin D supplementation can help with mood. Now, you may have heard of what's known as SAD or seasonal affective disorder. When people don't have much sun, they get kind of mopey. And no surprise, then a 2021 randomized control trial found that after 8 weeks of supplementation with vitamin D plus omega-3, there was reduced anxiety, depression, and improved sleep quality. And mechanistically, this might be because vitamin D can actually enhance dopamine. A 2019 trial found that vitamin D supplementation in children with ADHD can increase dopamine levels. And vitamin D is also associated with immune function and inflammation. And these are kind of two different sides of the same coin, meaning inflammation and immune function. A 2015 trial in the journal Lupus found that vitamin D supplementation seems to enhance the function of what's known as Treg. And Treg is kind of upstream from other downstream immune cells. And so this upstream regulator, as the name suggests, T regulatory cells, they help to regulate the function of immune cells downstream. This might be why another trial in the Clinical Journal of Gastroenterology in 2021 essentially found that inflammatory markers significantly decreased in the group of individuals who supplemented with vitamin D. Could be through that regulation of the T regulator cell upstream. And because inflammation and immune function are tied together, it's probably no surprise that a very large study in the New England Journal of Medicine found that in this group of 25,000 participants, very large trial, who received either vitamin D or placebo, were shown to have a 39% lower risk of autoimmunity at a 5-year follow-up. That's pretty shocking. And other data, this was a recent meta-analysis, 2021, and this meta-analysis, which is a summary of clinical trials, summarized 8 trials, and they found that vitamin D reduced both TPO, or thyroid peroxidase, and TG, thyroglobulin, antibodies in those with Hashimoto's thyroiditis. So they reduced essentially Hashimoto's or thyroid autoimmunity. And there are also some benefits for bone, as you're probably aware. One study found a 16% reduction in fractures after supplementing with vitamin D plus calcium. So to recap, there are many signs of vitamin D deficiency, including fatigue, autoimmunity, inflammation. Remember, these two are related. Weak bones, weak muscles, amongst a few others. And vitamin D deficiency is fairly common, over 40% of the population, largely due to this absolutist thinking about sun avoidance and attempts to prevent skin cancer, which requires or should be seriously repudiated, combined with inflammation and overweight. And if you're experiencing any of these symptoms, get a simple vitamin D blood test. Remember not to fear the sun, and if this has been helpful, please like and subscribe, and also comment on what your thoughts are regarding vitamin D, your vitamin D levels, and what you're doing to try to increase your levels of vitamin D. This is Dr. Michael Ruscio, and I hope that helps.